And if we're ready, Jerry, if you want to lead us off here with the first question for Jimmy.
Jerry, you're muted.
I'm unmuted now. Sorry.
No problem.
After all these weeks of camp, Jim, and getting ready in the summertime, how close do you think you guys are to being what you want to be in the offensive line?
Good question. I think we're right where we need to be today, and next week we'll be right where we need to be next week. Coach Borbley always says we need to be as good as we possibly can be right now, and then when week 8 comes, we need to be as good as we possibly can be during week 8. So I think we've been working hard, the O-line especially, and we're right where we need to be.
Who's making strides along the line that you've seen? Which guys?
A lot of guys are. It's, and pick a different day. It's Carter Warren, Bryce Hargrove looks good. Cradle looks good. Gabe's been doing great out there ever since, being back from his 2 surgeries. Mac Gonsalves has stepped in, done well. Blake Zabovic. There's been a handful of guys that have been helping out.
Jimmy, as a team, more than just physically how you guys are feeling, mentally, being a week from the season here, what's kind of just the vibe? How are you guys prepared? How are you guys ready for the season to get going?
We're definitely ready. It's been a crazy camp, something we're not used to, but being out there today during the rehearsal scrimmage, it felt like it was time for football, which, it was a great feeling out there. Everybody was in a great mood, and probably the best rehearsal scrimmage we've had since I've been here. Everything just went smooth, and it was clean, and, guys are ready for football now. So it's exciting.
When you say rehearsal scrimmage, what exactly do you guys kind of go through that? How long does that last and all that kind of stuff?
I think today was only an hour and a half. It's really, it's our starters versus the scout team, Austin Peay scout team. And we just go through all of our pregame, situation stuff, like what we do during warm-ups, how we come out of the tunnel, who goes out first out of the locker room. And we just go through the whole pregame routine, and then we run through some plays and then call it a day.
Jimmy, I've heard several college players and a lot of teams call this training camp crazy, and you mentioned it being crazy. What's been crazy about it, and what's been different about it this year compared to other years?
Coronavirus. I know. I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Jay. No, it's weird. Every morning we got to wake up, take a, do a survey, get our temperature taken. Now we get tested 3 times a week. I got to wear a mask. I just took mine off just because I'm in, the room by myself here. But it's been weird having to deal with being in a pandemic and trying to play football too. But thankfully, the athletic department and everybody involved in the football program has done a terrific job making sure that, we accomplish having a season.
Is there a chance maybe it could take away from some guys' focus?
I think in the beginning, maybe, yes. Because, we have to deal with a whole different situation we're not used to. We have a lot of older guys on this team, and we're used to camp being a certain way. So once, things start changing and, we're meeting in the indoor, socially distanced and everything, we have to wear our masks every time we walk in the facility. It's something we're not used to, but our team's done a great job adapting.
Jimmy, we talked a lot this camp about just improving the running game this year. So, we talked about the line. How are the running backs, doing so far?
Running backs are doing great. We got everyone back, plus more. We got Izzy in there too. He's done a fantastic job as a freshman. We have a lot of, depth in that room, and I expect to see a lot of them on the field too. And they've done a great job, and, we put that on our back being the O-line, that it's our responsibility. So I think we're going to have a lot better year running the ball.
Jimmy, you get this blanket waiver for the season from the NCAA. That means that everybody who thought it was their senior year, including yourself, I guess, now has to think about whether it's actually going to be their senior year or not. Have you put any thought into that? And what do you get the sense that other guys in your position are thinking right now?
I haven't put much thought into it. I saw, when it was released online, and I'm in a committee with the NCAA Oversight Football Committee, and I knew that rule was coming out. And it was nice. I was happy to see the NCAA approved it for sure. I think it made a lot of people around the country more comfortable with playing. But I'm not going to evaluate what I'm going to be doing until the end of the season probably. So I'm just focused on playing Austin Peay right now. And right now it's my redshirt senior year. So whether I have another one or not, that decision will come at the end of the season.
Jimmy, you guys had a lot of battles in scrimmage with the defense, and Coach Narduzzi was telling us about he was impressed about some of the things you guys show. Can you talk about just what your group as an offensive line went through and just battling the defensive front and things that you say you guys were kind of learning from each other?
We're definitely running off the ball a lot more. That's been an emphasis when we were watching pro tape this offseason, and when we were watching our game film from last year. In the run game, we didn't really run off the ball. And you go and watch these NFL teams, especially the Titans. We liked watching them this offseason, and they just run off the ball. And that's one thing we're trying to do more of. And you guys know just as well as anybody else that we have a fantastic D line. So it's great competition every day. And there's been some battles up front. And as I said earlier too, our running back room is very experienced. So they've been helping us out too, hitting the holes.
Do we have any final questions for Jimmy before we get to our other three captains today?
Hey, Jim, did I hear you right? You said you're doing run off the ball?
We're running off. It's just like a phrase O-linemen say, like, you got to run off the ball.
You just like run.
Instead of being passive and just like waiting to see what the defense does, we have to be the aggressors.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. It's just a phrase.
Jimmy, I know they're known for being aggressive. Just wonder what your thoughts were on watching Austin Peay last Saturday.
Good. They look like they're talented for they showed random good spurts. They have I didn't mean to say random, but they have a different defensive front we're not used to seeing every week. We'll see some odd tight, some cage. So just some different things that we have to prepare for that we're not used to from our defense. But it's nice that we've had some time to prepare for them. But they look gap sound. They look like smart football players.
Jimmy, thank you for your time. Congratulations, and we appreciate you taking a couple minutes with us today.
Thanks, RJ. Thank you, guys. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Jim.
And we have Kenny Pickett, quarterback, senior, joining us now. Any questions for Kenny, first-time captain?
Yeah, Kenny, I mean, obviously you've been a leader on this team for a bit, but just to get that captain title, that C on the jersey, what does that kind of mean to you?
It means a lot, it just validates how my teammates feel about me, and the other three guys on the team that got voted captain, so I'm happy for those guys as well. But I just talked to the team after practice today, along with the other three guys, that, you don't need to see on your chest to be a leader. So we need everybody on the team to step up this year in order for us to reach our goals.
Jimmy was telling us about the rehearsal, scrimmage and whatnot today. Just did you at any point, in the last few months, think that you wouldn't even get to that point? I mean, it feels like this has been such an odd off season.
Right. I mean, there was at times that I had a lot of doubt. I did not think that we were going to be able to go this year. With everything going on in the news and around the world. So, the fact we're here, I'm just real happy and grateful for the opportunity.
Kenny, what are you seeing from the offensive line's growth, just from the beginning of camp to right now?
Right. I mean, every day I think you're seeing improvement there. I think we're the deepest we've been in a long time in that position group. Jimmy's obviously the leader up front. But I'd say Bryce Hargrove and the guy who's really stepped up that I was real happy to see is Carter Warren. He's had a great camp, great offseason, a guy who kind of changed his attitude since he's been here. I'm just real happy for him. He's been working really hard, so they're moving in the right direction.
Kenny, I know Addison's received a lot of accolades over his few weeks here. Just thoughts on him and your receiving core.
Yeah, Jordan's done a really good job. Probably one of my favorite teammates, favorite guys to play with, because he shows up and does his job at a really high level. You never really have to worry about Jordan and what he's doing. He works really hard, doesn't say much, really quiet guy, but you can always count on him. As a freshman, it's really impressive to see something that I haven't seen out of a freshman receiver. I'd say the closest guy is Jared Wayne. Those two guys. Really similar in how they go about their business. But as a position group, I think, Shockey being a leader, Tayseer Mack, the young guys with Jared and Jordan, and a guy who stepped up big time is Jaylen Barton. He's been a pretty explosive guy. He's getting the playbook down day by day. So I think, we're a lot deeper in that position group as well.
Kenny, everybody's talking about the defense. This defense has
Kenny, when you look at last season,
everybody's talking about the Pitt defense and what it can do for this year, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about this offense.
Yeah, I mean, we have, really high expectations for ourselves. We underperformed last season. I don't want to get into much of, we're kind of keeping it within the offense, but, we put a lot of work in since the winter. These guys have been really dedicated to their job, and, we're playing with a chip on our shoulder definitely this season.
Kenny, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Jeff. Kenny, every year people say that every year's team is different than the previous year. This is your fourth Pitt team. How is this team different from the three that came before it?
I would say probably the biggest thing that I've noticed is the player leadership, and how I don't think the coaches have to say much. I think a lot of the players take the leadership role, and I think that would be the biggest difference between this team and all the teams that I've been on in previous years. Not that we've had great leadership. We have great captains before, but I think as a whole now this team is going in the right direction. There's no cancers on this team. There's no bad apples. Those guys have all kind of weeded out in the 4 years that I've been here, and we're all going in the right direction now. I'm just real, grateful to be on a team like that.
Kenny, what's your reaction to being picked 8th in the conference?
It's just another day for us. I feel like we get that, kind of disrespect every season. So it is what it is. I don't care about preseason accolades or preseason rankings. All, at the end of the season is what matters.
Kenny, a couple years ago, you made a prediction in training camp, early in camp. You back in the prediction business this year?
No, I know you would love for me to be, Jerry. No, not this year. I'm just excited. I just hope we get to week one and have the opportunity to go out there and play. With what's going on in the world, that's pretty much hopefully a prediction I have is that we're playing this Saturday.
Kenny, obviously first game, there's going to be some things you have to work out. How do you go about in practice trying to make sure you don't have that rust once the game starts?
I think, the game scrimmage that we've had here against the defense, that helps a lot. And especially against defense of, our caliber. So I think, you're trying to, but listen, it always happens week one. There's always going to be some things that don't go right. But I think we have a lot of leadership and a lot of seniors on this team that can take it in stride, and we'll just, roll with the adversity. So I'm not too worried about it. You can expect mistakes, but as long as guys are going 100 miles an hour, I think we'll be okay.
We have one or two more for Kenny before we get to our defensive captains.
Kenny, I know your parents have come to all the games in the past. This is going to be a different year for them. How are they handling that?
Not too well. My mom was pretty much calling me every day, trying to figure out what they're going to do for the game. Whether they're, they want to come out here, but it's trying to figure out where they can watch the game. They were thinking about going to my house in Oakland to watch it. I wouldn't recommend that. It's not the greatest place, the nicest place to watch a game, but if they want to, obviously they're more than welcome. But they're trying to figure it out with a couple of my roommates' parents as well, and other guys on the team. So it's definitely tough. Really wish they would have let family members come to the game. It's a 70,000 seat stadium. I think they could be 6 feet apart from each other. But that's it is what it is. So we're trying to figure that out now.
Alan,
when you look at when you look at the change in the offense going into last season, the results were you guys got a lot more yards, but you didn't necessarily get a lot more touchdowns. What are some of the things that you think can make this team better at getting touchdowns in the red zone than it was a year ago?
I think we got some guys in the right spots. You got Lucas Kroll, who's a huge red zone target, and then we got a lot more speed. I'd say Jared did a good job this offseason getting faster, and Shockey obviously is an explosive guy. He was a little banged up last year, but we saw what he could do when he's healthy. And then the two young guys in the running back room. We need more explosive plays that end up in the end zone. And I think we got the right guys to do that this year.
Kenny, thank you. Congratulations. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll keep it rolling with our defensive captains. I believe we have Patrick Jones on deck here. There's Mr. Jones, senior defensive end and newly elected captain. Do we have any questions for Patrick?
Patrick, I'll ask you the same thing I asked Kenny. Obviously, you've been a leader on this team for a bit, but just to get that C on the jersey, to get the actual title of captain, what does it kind of mean to you?
It meant everything for real. Just to know that my teammates look at me that way and that they just got that respect for me, it just meant so much. I was speechless when I found out.
Patrick, you're not necessarily the most gregarious guy all the time. You're a bit low key. Is leadership something that kind of came natural to you? Is that something you felt like you had to work on as you became an upperclassman?
I just started to try to focus on how I could improve myself. So I looked at what I could do better personally, because I noticed one thing that I learned was that people are gonna look at you as you get older. So I want to give the young dudes something good to look at, like a role model to look at. So that's what my goal was to be. So I just try to be the best version of myself I could be and try to help anybody I can on the way.
Patrick, after camp here, what can we expect from Rashad Weaver this season?
You could expect a lot from Rashad Weaver. Rashad definitely turned my head during camp, and it just feels so good just to have him back with us. But you could expect a lot out of Rashad Weaver.
Patrick, Kenny was telling us that some of the bad apples have been weeded out of this team, and he says it's the best team that he's been on. Would you agree with that? And what's the importance of having that camaraderie as you go into a season?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I just feel like the atmosphere in the team is just so positive right now, and everybody just realizes what the goal is, and the goal is all the same. So we all realize what we have to do to get to that goal, and that's what our focus is right now.
Patrick, with you guys losing Damari Mathis on the back end, do you feel like that puts any more pressure on the front four to get pressure on the quarterback to help out that back end? Or, and how confident, I guess, are you guys in the guys that would fill in for Damari?
Of course, that puts us in a little situation, but we got great young dudes at a position that's going to step up too as well. So, and there's always that pressure to get back there fast, and it's not just to help the secondary, which it is, but it's also just to be the best D-line in the country. That's the pressure that we got right now.
Patrick, through training camp, what's the biggest thing you've seen grow in yourself, whether it's on the field or off the field as a leader? And what's the biggest thing you've seen growing amongst your teammates, that you're kind of at the top of the chain, you're going to be one of the captains now. What are some of the things you've seen grow that have impressed you the most about the guys around you?
One thing that I've seen the most that impressed me about the guys around me is just everybody just buying in. All the young dudes just buying in. So what we have to say, just be careful when you're around campus, get into the playbook more. We got a little extra free time, so just really try to perfect your craft. And it's just amazing to see how well all the young dudes just bought into that.
Patrick, Austin Peay busted a 75-yard touchdown on their first play. Just how much have you seen? How much film have you watched of them? Just some early impressions of Austin Peay.
I watched the game, and I watched the tape a couple times already. And, like you said, they had a good run at the beginning, so we can't let that happen. So we just have to just keep studying them. Like Austin Peay, it's our first game of the season. We didn't know we were having this season. So it's just a blessing and an opportunity. So I'm giving it all I got, and I know my boys gonna give it all we got too.
How tough is that full house kind of backfield look they have to diagnose what they're doing?
We got great coaches, so we actually broke it down pretty easy. So, of course, it's going to be a challenge, but we ready to step up to the challenge.
Do we have any final questions for Patrick, who was named preseason All-ACC this morning as well?
Patrick, do you get into those rankings? What does that mean to you, and what do you think about being picked 8th as a team?
Me personally, I don't get into the rankings too much, especially the preseason stuff, but it's definitely an honor just to know that people think that highly of me and highly of the team. So I'll check them out a couple times, but I don't really get too much into them because it's preseason. We still got a whole season ahead, so that's what I'm looking for this season.
Can you use it as motivation, Patrick?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can you use it as motivation when they don't pick you too high in the preseason standings?
Of course, it's definitely motivation, but there's other motivation that we have too as well. So it's just adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah, just following up with what was asked there. Just I wanted to know if there's any, like, do you guys treat it as elevator music and something you guys block out, or is this a chip on you guys' shoulder that when you show up to work in the mornings, when you're working out, you're kind of all like feeling that sense like, you know, people aren't paying enough attention to us, or, you know, they don't know what's coming from you guys this year, if there's a sense that amongst the team?
I definitely think that it's a little chip on our shoulder, but it's not too big where it's going to distract us, but it's just big enough to where it's going to motivate us. And I definitely feel like people do sleep on Pitt, so I feel like that's our goal this year, to go out and get respect from everybody.
Patrick, thank you for your time. Congratulations, and we appreciate you taking a couple minutes with us today.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, DeMar, for joining us for a few minutes.
Thanks for having me.
If we have any questions for DeMar, feel free to ask our final senior captain.
DeMar, congratulations on your captaincy. I was wondering if it changes your approach every day when you come to practice. Will you do anything different? Will you be more vocal now, maybe?
Not at all. You know, whether there's a C on his chest or not, you know, same approach, same message to my guys, you know, same everything. So whether they see what's here or not, you know, I'll be leading the charge.
What's your message to the guys?
Just keep going, you know, just be prepared for anything. With the whole COVID and everything, you never know what's going to happen. Just be prepared for whatever. That's my main message. Everything else is just already understood.
DeMar, you guys had a lot of experience amongst the secondary coming in. Everyone had played together, but when DeMar went down, obviously you guys needed some young guys to step up. Who have you seen step up the most to replace DeMar and at that cornerback spot?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be missing Mari, man. I played with him all last year on the same side, but you know, stepping up the most has been Marquez Williams, number 14. That's a dude I really seen a lot of him last year. Like, he was ready to go last year, but you know, just by how the numbers fell, he really didn't get a lot of chances to show what he could do. So this will be a big year for him. Also, I would say AJ Woods, just the same as Marquez. You know, just feeding for knowledge, just always just wanting to learn more and just ready for his moment to shine. And a young guy, Rashad Battle, you know, just super athletic, super smart, and just feeding for more knowledge of the game. I'll actually be with them today watching some film and stuff.
DeMar, will they be on your side again like DeMar was, or is Pinnock switching over? Has that been decided yet?
I don't think anything's set in stone decided yet. That's probably a coach's decision.
How many? DeMar, I was going to say.
John.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. How many leaders do you guys think you have on this team? I mean, obviously you got the 4 captains, but I mean, guys like Paris and Rashad. I mean, feels like there are just so many guys who really, if they were named captain, it wouldn't surprise anyone, you know.
Yeah, I would say the team is just deep with leadership right now. You know, it's a big senior class that we have, and I would say every senior leads in his own way. Also, like guys like you said, like Paris and just other players on the team, they just everyone has their own way of leading. You know, and like one thing we try to do throughout our room is like, you know, like we don't just do like a senior break down the room or break down the huddle onto the next drill. You know, we spread out that like little moment of leadership throughout all the guys, whether it's me as a 5th-year senior or a walk-on freshman, you know, just like making guys feel comfortable enough to speak up, you know, and just feel comfortable enough to be in that leadership role.
DeMar, obviously it's been a crazy last 6 months. Do you feel like you guys are ready to play football, and if so, why?
Yes, sir. One reason why is because we just been waiting, you know, just with the uncertainty of everything going on and like just not knowing if our season was going to be canceled, you know, waiting on the Big 12 decision, I guess it was. But, you know, just not knowing and just the uncertainty of like just being in camp and like not seeing the road far ahead, but still just trusting the process and just believing. Like basically that's all we had was faith and belief, you know, and just to see like things come through and to be 1 week away, it's just like there's nothing else we just ready.
DeMar, Jimmy was telling us that you guys had your, I guess it was the rehearsal scrimmage today. Were captains announced after that or before the rehearsal scrimmage?
Captains were announced right after that.
Right after that, okay.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar, have you thought about what it's going to be like playing inside an empty Heinz Field?
I have, and it's really been like something I've been trying to see like how it's going to affect me, or like just how the environment's going to be. I pretty much see it as just being like a camp practice. We haven't been having fans or families or anybody, you know, at our practices, which we usually would during camp or anything. Like my family would come to practice a few times during the week during camp, just being so close to home. You know, so not having anyone at practice, I've just been trying to like get myself ready for game mode, but it's definitely going to be a little adjustment not having my family or any other fans at the game, but I'm pretty sure we'll find a way. That's been our main approach this whole time. Is just we're going to find a way to do whatever we need to do to make that ACC title and get a win.
It's going to be the first time your family hasn't watched you play in person since, you know, you were a baby?
Yeah, my family, even before I started playing in college, like my first year when I was just out dealing with injuries, my family's traveled to all home and away games, like games in Miami, the big game with Clemson, you know, pretty much every road game it was, even my first year of college. And of course, high school, they never missed a game, but it's been at least 10 years since my parents haven't watched me play. But they're doing things at home to like, you know, just try to make it like as normal as possible. Like I think they're planning like a big like a watch party. So they'll do it big, and I know they'll be right there screaming at the TV the whole time.
Yeah, what's the noise level going to be like at that house?
Super loud. It's going to be intense. You know, even when my family does come to the game, my family that can't come to the game, they all get together. And they already watched my game. My high school gave me like a big life-size cutout picture of my senior year of high school, you know. So they keep that in the room, and they get after it for sure.
DeMar, when you
go ahead. I already asked.
DeMar, when you made the decision to come back, which now seems like years ago, I guess it wasn't really that long. A lot has happened since then, but what has been sort of driving you? What was your motivation to say, okay, I get another shot at this? What's really the thing that you want to accomplish here in these next few months before you leave Pitt?
The driving factor was really just to go out the way I know I can, you know, just to really do things the right way this time around, you know. Just going through a senior year, which was considered my senior year, that I thought was my senior year, and then like just having the blessing of being able to have the opportunity to come back and do it again, you know. It just allowed me to see like what really matters and what really doesn't, you know. Like it just allowed me to see like the things I need to work on, the things I need to focus on, the things off the field that I need to be focused on, you know. It just pretty much in that aspect, just seeing everything, like it just kind of allowed me to be like outside of everything and just see the bigger picture.
DeMar, 3 of your teammates got named to the preseason All-ACC team with Paris, Patrick, and Jimmy, but you guys were ranked 8th. I was talking to Patrick. He said there is a bit of a chip on you guys' shoulders about the expectations outside of the locker room. What are you guys kind of feeling as a team right now, and as a captain? What are you seeing, you know, as far as every day and how you're showing up to work, and if that's something that you know is in the back of everyone's minds?
We just gonna call it what it is. I feel like that's disrespect, you know. Like straight like that. I feel like that's disrespect. But that don't got nothing. That don't affect our approach. That don't affect nothing ever since we all decided to come back, it was all about proving why we need to be where we deserve, so we're not worried about no preseason lists, none of that, we are not thinking about that. We're gonna show it week in, week out. So, but we definitely take it as disrespect, and they're gonna see about it.
DeMar, Pat Narduzzi was saying, I think it was the last time we talked to him, that Brandon Hill has been doing really well at safety. What has he kind of shown you in training camp and kind of his progression?
He's explosive, and he's also like he's smart and he's a quick learner. He reminds me of me, like the way he can pick up knowledge fast and on the go. Like you can correct something about him real quick and you'll see a change right away. But athletically, like I told him since last year, like he reminds me of Whitehead. Like I tell him that all the time, speed wise, like just how he flies around and how he's just so aggressive. Like I tell him all the time, he reminds me of Jay White. So whenever he gets his chance to be on that field, y'all see it for sure.
Is he working at your spot or Paris's spot in terms of
he's not working at my spot.
Okay, gotcha.
DeMar, everybody knows how tight you and Paris are. What changes have you seen in him over the last year?
Just more field knowledge, just more like understanding of what the offense is really trying to do to us. And that's one thing he just got a natural instinct for, like naturally. But, just having a year of experience under his belt, he's able to pick up like just things quicker, like on pre-snap, on like what teams are trying to do to us, or just situational things, like when you're first year, you might have other thoughts in your head, like, just maybe just like things about just worrying about things differently. But, just with a year of experience under his belt, it's just able to just like recognize things faster. That's probably one of the biggest things, but he still makes plays the same. He's still, he still finds a way to get that ball out, finds a way to have the ball in his hands, so he's been the same him for real.
DeMar, it's a veteran quarterback coming back from injuries. Looks like he has some mobility. Just thoughts on Austin Peay and their offense?
They got some guys. I haven't really looked at their quarterback too much. I didn't know he was a veteran guy, but they're a team that we're ready to play. That's all I got to say.
Do we have any final questions for DeMar before we wrap up? All good. Well, DeMar, congratulations, and thank you for taking some time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, DeMar.
Thanks, DeMar.
That concludes our session with our 4 captains today. Thank you all for taking the time to hop on and do quick interviews. We appreciate the coverage.
Monday at noon, right, RJ?
What's up? Monday at noon?
Monday at noon.
There, you confirm that? That's my anticipation, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure it is. Okay.
Monday at noon, EJ, for Coach?
Yeah, Monday at noon, I'm going to be sending you out a link this afternoon, and that link will be good to go for the balance of Mondays for whenever we're doing it. So I will send that away. And my fine colleague, Seth Graham, who's on the call here, who was our wizard in so many respects, but he arranged that for us. So I'll be sending that to you. And Monday at noon will be Coach Narduzzi in the same setting.
Does this mean we get to ask you questions now, EJ?
I was just going to ask that, Jeff. I was going to say, any more questions for EJ?
I got questions.
I'm sure you do. I'm not nearly as compelling as those 4 gentlemen, though, that were with us. So thank you for jumping on. And, I'll say this. Usually I hate working like this. Usually we know what Monday through Friday looks like. It's more like a day-by-day type of deal these days. And I apologize about that, but I'll try to keep you abreast and up to speed what we're doing and with as much advance notice as possible. Working through Heinz Field operations and all that kind of business. And I'm hopeful to have some more details to you about what a Saturday would look like for your arrival and all that kind of business as well. But at the very least, you have a wonderful weekend, and we know that we're on for Monday at noon with Coach. Good?
Cool.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Have a great weekend.
You too.